Hi. We're going to sort of piece this together today. Cathy in Vermont and Susie in Cork, Ireland. Our fearless leader, Ramsey, is traveling, so he's not here. We're going to do our best, though, right, Susie?
Absolutely. We'll make up for it as best we can. And it's cool to be here because guess what? It's our birthday.
Happy birthday, Spirit Cafe. A
Happy
whole
birthday.
year. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, huh? Does it seem like a year to you?
No, it feels like about 6 months. It really doesn't feel like a year.
6 months or 5 years? Yeah, it's kind of both for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, it seems like we've always been doing it, and, because
yeah,
I went back and I looked at our previous topics, and some of them seemed forever ago because there was, I think some real, evolution and transformation in what we did.
absolutely. Yeah, I think when we started like a year ago, we weren't really sure what we were starting. You know, we were curious and we were definitely, what would be the word? I suppose curious is the main word we had, but we were
Yeah.
enthusiastic as well, let's say. But we didn't quite know what we were enthusiastic about. Like, because I don't think any of the three of us knew what Spirit Cafe had in mind.
Well, and plus the way I know, at least, I used to live a lot in my head and by calendars and, intentions and goals and timelines, but, this whole idea of, being of service and going where you're needed and, um, talking about what's relevant right now, that changes everything. It's so hard to make a big picture plan. You can't have a 5-year plan and, lay it all out like it's on a map in an Excel spreadsheet. It just doesn't work that way. So,
No, you've got to have that flexibility, I think, to be able to float a little bit and float with ideas and float ideas and float with different people and different collaborations and just see what feels good, like, and I always said as long as this feels easy and fun, I'm in, and it has really been easy and it's been a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah,
Did you
and
look
that
at what we've
everybody's
done? Did you look over what we've covered? I thought that was
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, so, we started with just basic mediumship, and we did activities, Ramsey's train and visualizations and meditations, and, we worked on, uh, our guides,
Yeah.
and so those things sort of really set the groundwork for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I feel like for me at that point, what was coming very clearly was that we were redefining something. We were sort of um, giving birth to a new paradigm. Shaking off the old kind of feelings and thoughts and ideas around what that could was, and really entered it with a kind of an openness to see what could it be, or why was it happening, or what's the benefits of doing mediumship and connecting with our loved ones in spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's coming in as a life-saving technique right now, I think. We're all kind of making it up as we go, right? I use my art, blend it in, and what that was one of our topics was we blended, remote viewing and mediumship. I don't think none of the three of us do it in a straightforward way. We just do what we need to do.
Yeah, like, to be fair, when we started, we were aiming towards probably even a bit more structure, but I think what really unfolded was, even though we attempted to create the structure, because we had to coordinate how we would work together, three of us. Often we had to kind of be able to let that go to see how else we could do it, because like you said, there's not one way. And I think that was a beautiful discovery along our journey together. How we each received messages or information in different shapes and forms, and whether it's seeing, hearing, feeling, listening, whatever way it came through. But there was a sort of a coherence that was beginning to happen, I think, early on.
Hmm. Yeah. You know what I think is interesting is that, I don't know if you found this, but sometimes having three of anything is kind of hard. Three women,
Yeah.
three men, but if three offspring, like there's that tension. But I think that, I don't know. I mean, we had some sort of a magical. I mean, you and Ramsey have known each other longer than you've known me. You sort of enveloped me and made me feel home right away, and it was so exciting. But there's three of us, and it works so beautifully.
Yeah. And I think that's what it takes, because when you come together, we've had some big groups and we've had smaller groups, everything I think from about 20 people to maybe 6 or 7. What I've observed is every single time we did a spirit cafe, the right people were there,
Yeah,
and it was exactly what was supposed to happen. Whether we were working with mediumship or psychic ability or remote viewing, or just doing exercises, where we would do kind of looking into the future, looking into, some of the past, playing around a little bit with the timelines.
right.
Um, it was very playful. And I think it's the best environment to learn in.
Right. We at first set it up, we were thinking that the same people would come every time, and that did work out, but we also had people jump in and out, and I'm thinking of, um, we did, remember the one where we had people send in pictures? We did an exercise where I was the person, everybody who was gonna participate sent in a picture of a dead beloved to me. I was the only one who knew who it was from. I didn't know who the person was. And and that one in particular, I remember somebody that didn't come all the time, and she was the one who needed the big message. So she like popped in and got what she needed that day somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just how it always worked out. I think when there was the regulars, like you said, and that gave us kind of some consistency, and, we could make some progress as well because we were building on each session, I think.
Yeah,
But then we'd have these people, like you said, would pop in, and then it was the prime opportunity for everybody to really practice what we were exploring, and put it into the kind of put it to good use. I think that's what I loved about it, was there were so many occasions on the spirit cafes where you kind of finished up and you thought, wow, that's really made a difference to somebody's life. It's
I think
helped them.
so.
It's been connected them with, you know a loved one, or heal some grief that they've been carrying. And that was a real learning for me as well, like to experience it firsthand.
Well,
I was looking up some of the ones we did. We did a remote viewing experiment. Um, I'm trying to remember the details of it. Can you remember that one?
um, well, we just did ours about seeing where the three of us are going to go in the UK. We did the one with Ramsey's photo of.
Oh yeah, it was the one before that. Actually, we did another one where we had everybody spend time in their own like favorite place near
That's
their
right.
home,
Yes.
and they kind of put it into the field for the group to connect with over a course of a couple of weeks. I think you were in Spain. That it was during the summer. It was
I
really interesting. That
I
was
remember
really interesting.
I remember doing it, because I still remember that, I was looking at I can't remember what the plant is, this tall plant, and there was a dragonfly. And yeah, so the idea was that each of us, independently, would go to a spot outside, inside, in our own homes. Nobody knew where, and we would focus on this place. And so I focused on this one plant, this stalk, and then a dragonfly came up, and we would sort of put that in our morphic realm, and then everybody else. So when Susie did that, I would tune into what Susie was looking at, and we just take our notes like we did in remote viewing. And then we came together the next time. The next
Yeah,
class was, what did you see? And it worked.
it did. That's what was amazing. Like it was. I usually do picture drawings. Like I'm very visual, so I had just these pages and pages of little rough sketches. But it's really good to practice stuff like that. I think. That's what I
Yeah.
really learned the most when we were doing that. It was like the more we practiced and the different ways we practiced, you could really get a grasp of, how remote viewing works and, associated ARV, as they call it, versus RV, and just the variations of how, whether you're given a target with a number. We did that too, where we gave them a target number and they tuned into that. And so there's just so many ways you can apply it. And I think the practicing is what I'm excited about, because where we'll take it from here, when we go forward next year, we've kind of planted all of these seeds and we've had these little kind of mini experiments, but we can maybe take it another step further next year. That's my hope anyway.
And we did that game with Ramsey, who is a numbers person.
Oh
Remember,
yes,
he
yes.
was he was looking at some different stocks, and we were to, let's see, he did it for the week prior, and we all had to say, dragon or boar, and we had no idea
Yeah.
the context. All he said was, everybody just needs to tell me dragon or boar. And so even not knowing the context, you still tune in carefully and see which one of those comes to you. And it turned out that he was looking at different stocks, and I think, we were around 67% accurate.
Yeah, it was really high. I was really surprised because in that experience we gave no upfront information, none. Like it was like dragon or boar,
Yeah.
it was bim bum bum, and it was really interesting because what I learned was the less information you have there, the better, because you get an instant kind of a yay or nay, a yes or no, yum or yuck, or whatever it is. And that's really how a lot of this works, because it's kind of the less information you have about a person or their loved one in spirit, the less information you have, the clearer the image is. It's not getting tainted by what's going on in your left brain.
And it seemed like fun.
Yeah,
Like those kids games where you're around the table just like going fast and not really thinking too far into anything. But then we ended up being so accurate. I think about that all the time, just to like drop all of the strings that are attached to any of
yeah,
this work, and have fun with it, just play.
that's it. I think that's really important. Another one we did was blending,
Hmm.
when we were using, I think we were using a little bit of blind vision with the remote viewing.
Yeah.
And just again, like, we'd have things written on pieces of paper just for the others to tune in. And, you know, I forget how it went now. I think we had like colored shapes or different, like a green square and a yellow circle, and we just kept it really simple. But it was really fascinating. Again, just the more abstract we made the experiment, the more successful it was actually. Like so, um, so that really helped. And I think all of those exercises, when you think about it now, in hindsight, is kind of building that muscle, like that you can just pick up some information and pass it on without putting it through any filter of worrying, oh, is this right or wrong, or adjusting it in any way. It just seems to get right to the point at times.
Yeah, and it's all those games, and you and Ramsey talked about this for your mediumship training. It's so much about not being self-conscious and trusting
Yeah,
what you see. And that's eh, I don't, sometimes I'm beyond that most of the time, but sometimes I'm not. And I don't know why. I mean, our culture tells us, we get grades as kids, we get gold stars, we get um, classified certain ways. I guess we're just trained to not say our truth,
yeah,
um, in case it's not right. Which is why I loved, you did a session with us. It was, I think it was number 8, so it wasn't long ago, where we spoke our strong points. Do you
yeah,
remember? And we we said what we were good at, and what we felt like our work in the world was. And I find that to be really powerful. And then we know we can support each other also.
exactly. Well, there were a few things that came through that day, I felt, that are really interesting, that you could see that when given the permission, everybody could really get centered and silent and connect with what is their individual, unique superpower, you know, how they get information. And whether you're just a feely, touchy person, or you're just a visual person, or you're just somebody who hears words, or, every single person has their own unique way. Some are more of one and less of another, or have never heard something in their lives, but they see everything. It really varies. And I think once we kind of highlighted that, and then had that moment where, as a collective, tuning into the, like, this is who I am, actually, this is me, you know that was really empowering. And then I think we felt our field was so powerful. Like, we had this group of people that are so unique in their own expression, but have so much to offer. And when we come together as this, a collective, wow, like, it
Yeah,
really feels like it'll make a difference. It does make a difference in the world.
I think it does. And it's not even, sometimes how, even, with the politics that's going on over here, just naming things can be so helpful. It
Yeah,
doesn't even have to be a positive thing. I am a warrior. It can be, I am scared, and owning that, like, hearing yourself say it and owning it, is kind of a relief, at least for me. It's so reassuring. And then if you have a witness, oh, what a nice thing.
yeah, because it takes it out of your just an experience in your mind, takes
Mm,
it beyond your thought forms. Because when you have to verbalize it and vocalize it and share it aloud, like, and other people are bearing witness to yours, it really, what's the word? It sort of, um like, emphasizes it is one word. I'm thinking of a different word beginning with E, but it really, you know, brings it to a whole other level, let's just say it that way. In terms of, like, now it's out. Now it's out of the bag, but you said it, I've heard it, I've witnessed it. It's a little realization within yourself, and you can't unrealize that again. You can't go back from that, if that makes sense.
mhm. Yeah, sometimes those monster ideas are bigger when they're just flapping around in my head than when I say it and speak it, then it kind of gets organized and
Yeah.
doesn't seem that big anymore.
Yeah, I think it's like a problem shared is a problem halved, but even outside of the realm of problems, I think it's with our strengths as well. When we
Mm,
vocalize what our strengths are,
mhm,
and somebody helps to mirror that back, it's like, I am powerful. I am a
mhm,
conscious choice maker. I
mhm.
do make a difference. And okay, I'm taking full responsibility for this unique little version of a human that I am, and there's a real empowerment that comes with being part of a community, I think, part of a collective.
Boy,
I've seen it with our group, the ones that have come regularly, like from where we started to where they were the last time we met recently.
yeah,
I was amazed. I was like,
huge.
wow, phenomenal,
Yes.
major growth.
In 1 year's time.
Yeah, less
Yeah.
really because we didn't get going till February, and so it was only 10 live sessions. We've done 9. We've 1 to go. We have our final in December, but yeah, it's been wonderful. It really has. It's been really wonderful. What are some of your highlights of this year, Cathy? It doesn't have to even be Spirit Cafe, but as the year is coming to that point.
Yeah, I think, well, being part of Spirit Cafe is a highlight for me. Um, I find I get so much satisfaction um w- watching people step into their what they know and
Yeah.
finding some power and evolving in some way so that they grasp their creativity or their mediumship. Um, I'm thinking of a few people in particular that have changed so much. And I just
Mm,
love watching that. I can't. That's probably for me the most exciting thing.
brilliant. Yeah.
What about
It's
you?
um Gosh, there's been a lot of different things. You can kind of feel your own growth. I can really feel where I've stretched myself. Like doing this, for example, this is a stretch
Yeah,
definitely for me.
yeah.
Um, you know, like just being more relaxed about who I am and how I function in the world. And I feel that as I've kind of come to terms with me and kind of settled into it, I can give other people permission to also kind of, you know, do the same for themselves because we can get so caught in our heads. All you need is a debilitating thought or a doubt in your mind, or like that's one of the biggest setbacks within mediumship, or I've noticed in Spirit Cafe. The minute somebody shows up and they're like, I can't do this, or this is too much, or and they're real feelings. I'm not trying to say they're not. Of course they're, because you've met your edge. You've kind of come to your own edge of your comfort zone, let's say, and you're like, really, a live stream? I don't think so. Or eh, you want me to talk to a dead person, seriously?
Mm.
And that can be a little bit, that's enough to make you want to go back and crawl under the duvet and hide for another couple of weeks or months. But
Mhm.
what I love is when we get to that point and we don't run, we
Yeah.
stay with the discomfort of not feeling like you're getting it right, or you're going to get it wrong, or you're going to do harm, or you're going to hurt, that you don't know what you're doing or whatever it is, and leaning into it and trusting. And it doesn't have to even be blind trust, but it's like trusting in that when I feel this little bit shaky inside and I lean into discomfort, I usually have, like, the pattern is I'll come out the other side eventually. Like, in it can be a bit, uncomfortable for sure, but you do come out the other side. Nothing is staying the same. Everything is in a sort of a transitory kind of transitioning. I think that's something I really learned this year, you know. being in those kind of transitions.
Yeah.
Um, okay, it's not the same as it was this time last year. And, when I was going through some of my transitions last year, I really was trying to hang on to, where I was comfortable, but I had to really like surrender, let go, and you do lean in, and then you land back into that space of the flow where you're flowing and you're floating again. So, there's those kind of points along the way, like you're at the edge of the precipice. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'm out of here. But then you do, the net appears, let's say. The net appears.
Well, and I for me, um, you guys are the net, and everybody in our group, because I remember it wasn't that long ago. I don't know what was bothering me, but I showed up, and you and Ramsey were right away. Are you okay? And so
Yeah.
it, when you're working with mediums, it's not like you can just show up at the bagel place and everybody thinks it's just a normal day. Like,
That's
there's all
true.
this information floating around your head. I'm freaking out.
Yeah, it's true. Like you do pick up a lot of other people's what's going on, and it's not always appropriate to kind of get in there either. You know what I mean? It's knowing where your place is. But
Yeah,
obviously, if you've built up a relationship and a trust and a friendship with somebody, you can venture in there. But you could be in you could be in the bagel place, and the guy next to you in the line who you don't know at all, his grandmother is tapping you on the shoulder saying, could you give my great grandson a message? And you're like, no,
no,
no, no, I won't. Now you can, of course you can, but that's where you've got to navigate. You've got to work out, am I open or closed today? Am I on or off? Does this feel aligned for me to do? You don't have to rush off on every single impulse that you get. Like I think it's trying to be the discernment, I think, discerning.
yeah, and I think we're learning that as we go through these group situations. What are some of the ethics of this work?
Yeah.
When do you open your mouth? When do you keep it to yourself? When do you ask somebody to give more? When do you say no? I'm not going to say anymore. Um, it's all really good, because
Yeah.
without these people, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, that's why I'm here, because I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do.
I think your motivation is really key, and your own processes, your own purification processes, how do you kind of keep yourself kind of clear and you know healthy, and not spaced out all the time, because we live here, we live in the bagel shop, and we've got to turn on the lights and pay for the gas, and we've got to make it work. So it doesn't help us if we're spaced out half the time. So it's being able to navigate the two sort of sides of the veil, which is why the community aspect of the Spirit Cafe really works, because it's an assigned time, it's consistent, it's every month, um, you know, and it's enough time to be on. Like it's nearly 2 hours every time. Often we end up going over, but it's whatever it takes, but minimum 2 hours, let's say, and everybody has an opportunity there to kind of figure where they are out along this, and find out what is motivating me, and how can I keep myself in a good shape.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
right. Well, I've noticed with myself that I know when these are coming up. I haven't had that many challenging, emotionally challenging things. My life is good and stable, and um, but like I pay attention now, probably more than I would if I was sitting at my computer doing my graphic design job. That I want to be present. I want to be well enough in my inner space that I can listen to other people and
Mhm.
process what they're saying, and hear and see the things that I can in order to help maybe. So, um,
Yeah,
it's good self-care in that way, just because I wanna show up the right way.
absolutely. And now, I'm really grateful that I look back over my path, my journey. I was really reflecting a lot on Monday, given 11/11 that it was. And
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about 11/11 up until 11/11/12. But it's whether you know about it or not, the stars, the planets, your stage of life, your dosha, your energy, your field is being kind of orchestrated in a sort of your co-creation of something, bigger than you, whether you're aware of it or not. So what I learned, like, back then was, when I started asking questions like, who actually am I? What am I doing here? What's this all about?
Mm,
And it didn't, like, you don't have to ask those questions that much, because truly the answer does meet the question
mhm,
uh, when you're ready. And it mightn't feel like you're ready at the time, but you have to trust that process too. And I went into this whole study of, Vedanta, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, and honestly, it stood me the test of time. Like, and it's a continuous learning. Like, you could be alive 20 lifetimes. I don't think you'd have even the grasp of half of them. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm early days. I do believe on some levels that I must have studied some of this before, because it comes in I really enjoy it. I find it. Um, I lose time when I'm reading about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali or Ayurveda, or really studying about meditation and practices, sutras, and mantras, and things like that. But they're really my three kind of, let's say, foundational pillars that I can build everything else on. So, like, it is a journey. I'm only at the start of it, really, but I'm really grateful, because those practices that work with my mind, my body, my soul, and I've also got to meet lots of other people through them, the trainings, and the classes that I do myself. So that really helps me when I feel like I'm a little off balance, or need a bit of grounding, or I just have to take good care of myself. We all actually have to take that responsibility and
mm,
take care of ourselves. It's nobody else's job, it's ours.
right.
What do you do as your self-care, Kathy? What are your sort of go-to rituals? Or
Um, uh, yeah, a little bit of all that. I studied the sutras and I taught yoga for years before I had my son, and after a little bit. But probably now it's the my creative realm and
Mhm.
visual medicine. Um, I do like I've combined writing and mediumship, listening to my voices with this art form, and that's where I can lose myself. That's the place. If I'm having a hard time, that's my place of beauty. That I know I can go there and guaranteed something will shift.
Yeah,
Guaranteed. And what getting outside every day and walking with my dog, and um I mean, I love to be outside no matter the weather, and try and eat really well, Gets kind of a boring, not too many things that are bad for me happen anymore. So I'm pretty
good.
thankful about that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
do you want to we could do you want to hear who's been our guest in the last
I was
year?
just thinking that, because when you were talking about the visual medicine, I was immediately recalling in my mind
Yep, Suzette was here, so
Suzette. Wow, that was so wonderful. I
I
loved
know.
learning about her work.
Yeah, and I think she's always innovating. We could probably have her on every time, and I'm still in. in classes with her. She's doing something with us now. We're creating a creation oracle.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so this is going to be an oracle of the visual medicine pieces that we can personally turn to as artists, psychics, whatever we all are, engineers, nurses, people
Yeah.
from all walks of life, um, to connect with our ancestors, connect with the stars, moss, and sort of put our lives in perspective, and see things from a different place. So that's super fun. Um, our first open mic UK was with Tanis,
Oh, yeah.
Ramsey's
Yes.
partner, um, on his regular open mic. Let's see, we talked with John Oliver, your
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. John, we met him at the Science and Consciousness Conference
Is he going to
last
be
year.
there? Is he going to be
Hopefully, we
there
get
this
to
year?
meet him again this year. Yeah, I love John's work. I think it's really interesting.
Yep.
You know, how do you describe that? It's like video. He just runs the film, and you're either asked a question, or you just start to kind of tap into that flow and start to speak. And sometimes you don't know what you've said, but he has a way of editing your mini reel, like out of maybe an hour footage. And when you see it yourself back, something really happens. I think it's kind of like looking in the mirror and you can't look away. It's like,
Mhm.
there you go, that's
Yeah.
it there now. And yeah, he really helped us at the beginning when we were trying to figure out what Spirit Cafe wanted to be, or what, because we were just still kind of developing it as an idea. And I think John helped a lot. So it was good to have him on the show, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was kind of like panning for gold. He pulled the nuggets
Mm,
that maybe we couldn't see ourselves, and made them more obvious. Yeah,
yeah.
even the stills from his work, his website is just incredibly beautiful.
It
Um,
is. It's really one that I would go back to regularly, because he's an artist in his own right as well, and as well as like videographer, I suppose you would say. It's hard. You can't really contain these people because they're so much more
right.
than just one title. Like, they're
Right.
beyond
Yeah, all
one.
of our guests do all these different things. We had Jennifer Jerkovsky. Remember, she talked about
Yeah.
Reiki and mediumship and gene keys and human design. And I mean, she could come on every other week and talk for an hour for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
what I loved about her was there were a lot of things that she was talking about that I didn't know anything at all about. And that's what I
yeah,
love about being an absolute beginner here and getting to, you know, a full kind of hour immersion into hearing about somebody's journey to where they got to, and, what they're doing with it right now. And these incredible offerings are all out there for people to, pick up and connect with. And whatever one draws you, like, that's what I would say. Like, nobody's doing this alone, and these people are really putting themselves out there. They've beautiful websites, and they're available.
mm-hmm. So there's one that I wrote down that I haven't seen and I wasn't here for. Amarjeet
Oh,
Bhamra.
yeah, he's a guy, a friend of mine, from London, Amajit. An incredible man. He's a part of the parliament for, I'm gonna really mess up this now. His it's like the APPC. I'm gonna mix up the letters, but All Party Parliamentary Ayurvedic Council, I think, is what they are, right? But I might have messed up the end a bit there. But really, he's part of this organization that are, constantly having conferences and bringing together, leaders in the field of Ayurveda,
Hmm.
um, both from India and from Europe and the UK. And so, about implementing Ayurveda through the healthcare system in England, because Ayurveda is a preventative medicine, really.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily curative. It's really to help you before you get very ill. But it can also be on your journey to wellness again after you've been, maybe you've had surgery or cancer or something like that. So it's a really, like, in the integrative medical model, it's really important there that people learn, how their systems work, and how, in Ayurveda we relate the systems of the body to three doshas, which are connected basically to the five elements. So it makes a lot of sense when you kind of investigate it and kind of apply it to yourself first. And Amarjeet has been a healer. He's been, like you said, like our other guests, so much more than that. But he's very active, and he's very engaging in the subject. I went on a conference that he was leading. I think it was in the summer, and I gave a short talk about, my, like, I feel like Ayurveda and technology have an opportunity together that we can really use. So, the more people become familiar with the ideas and the kind of, I suppose, the principles of Ayurveda, they could harness that through technology, like even if it's through an app or something,
Mm.
that they can just check, hey, I'm feeling a bit this today, you know, oh, what do I need? You need grounding. Oh, I feel a bit stuck and sluggish today. Okay, you need to get moving. Like, it's always quite obvious, but sometimes you need something to tell you, you know,
Yeah.
here's what we suggest. And so yeah, I was talking a lot about, embracing kind of the best of the West with the best of the East, and kind
Hmm.
of bringing them together in a sort of like merging of technology. And to be honest, I've recently discovered ChatGPT, so that's become my new guru. So it's a good way, I think, now, though, if I work with people doing Ayurvedic consultations, I think I direct them towards that, because I was helping somebody recently, and it really, Ayurveda is about enabling you to take responsibility for yourself, so it doesn't do it for you, but it gives you a lot of tools to kind of help yourself.
Hmm.
And I've seen that with a lot of people that I've been working with, they want to, but they're not sure where to start or whatever. So yeah, Amajit is a great, like, I'd like to have him on again as well. A great
Yeah.
advocate for, self-care and an
Right.
model of health and well-being.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that one, and we you can find our previous uh, open mic UK's on um, Ramsey's YouTube. So just search for Ramsey's name on YouTube. Um, we had one of my. It was so fun having Andy from Plantily,
Oh, I missed that one.
because he's such a mystery. And if you want to look at a beautiful website, go to Plantally
Yeah.
and read and listen and bathe in the incredible visuals of little creatures and plants that he's got on there. So I just go peppered him with questions. And it was so fun. His work is so mysterious. He's like medicine man, uh, what shaman, plant healer. I don't know. I wonder even what he calls himself.
Yeah, it's like virtual plant medicine, isn't it? You don't take anything, but you have a really, like, it's like homeopathic. Like,
But you
there's
get
even
a
a sugar pill.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, very powerful. We talked to Paul Bannister
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
about remote viewing, and I've still been listening to the psychic guys.
No, that's you're mixing up the names. David
Oh, David
Parker was
Harkin.
the remote viewing. Yeah.
Okay. Paul Bannister. Oh, he's the
It's a
one
medium.
who I Was Gone. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Ramsey you spoke to. Yep.
He's in Norfolk in the UK. He's a
Mhm,
medium as well. So
mhm.
David Harker and Paul Bannister are both based in the UK. I met David Harker at the Science and Consciousness conference last year.
And he's gonna be
And
there this year.
yeah, he runs the remote viewing experience there. And I love their podcast, The
Yeah,
Psychic Guys. It just helps. I've read quite a few books on remote viewing, and I just love hearing guys chat about it. Then, in terms just casually, like we're chatting now, I think
right.
it's another great resource. And then David, no, Paul Bannister
Paul
was,
Bannister.
yeah, he was based in Norfolk, and yeah, we're going to meet him when we're in London, actually, aren't we? We're planning to connect
Oh,
with him.
for his podcast. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So he's a very experienced medium as well,
Yeah,
from in a very traditional sense,
right.
and very interesting to hear about his experiences and journey. So what I love is like it's just so broad, but
Mhm.
it's a little piece of each of us.
Right,
These
right.
are all people that we've each kind of been drawn to on our journeys, and we've kind of asked them to come in, and yeah, it's cool.
And the other Paul, Bouchon,
Oh, I miss Paul Bouchon. Yeah.
and, Ramsey and I are gonna do a séance with Paul when we're in London,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm pretty excited about that. He, again, evidential medium, um, came to it because of a personal trauma that he had just opened him wide up, and off he went into
Wow.
this realm of work. Then we talked to Kahula Hella Johnson.
Oh, I love her. Yeah,
She's always so nice to. I could just listen to her all day. Her voice.
absolutely. She's such a dream. She is such the real deal. It's such a gift to hang out with her, and
Mhm.
just even hearing her story too, I found really kind of interesting. Everybody's has their story into where they're going, where they are now, and nobody just lands in there like, and it's all plain sailing. I think everybody's kind of coming left, right, whatever, and I think you see then how all of these people, including Kahula Hela, like just that soft landing into her expression of the Hana Ikapono, which is,
Mhm.
would you say it's a piece or a derivative of Ho'oponopono, or it's separate?
No, it's a derivative. She was asked by her guides to modify Ho'oponopono into Hana Ikapono that would be, so that wasn't watering down
Yeah,
Ho'oponopono, and something that she could gift to, non-Hawaiians. I'm curious about that, growing up in that culture.
yeah,
Uh, I have about a million questions about what that must be like. Completely different than growing up in Ohio in America,
yeah.
I'm certain. Um, yeah, so maybe we can talk to her again, and then we talked to Emma Kupu Mitchell.
Oh, wow, that was a great show.
Yep, delightful astrologer and keeping us on track for everything that's going on in the cosmos right now.
Yeah, I love how Emma has this ability to just kind of take a small piece and help you kind of work within, just say the moon or something like that, without trying to overwhelm you with the whole lot. Because I know you were talking about recently when we were chatting, you were telling me about
Mhm.
what's coming up on the 19th of November. I think that would
Mhm.
be a good one to share if you feel up to it.
My understanding is that we are having a huge shift because Pluto, who is a tiny planet but very powerful, shifts. It's the circuit that planet makes is like 300 some years, And when he does certain things, big events happen, like the Berlin Wall falls, um, and wars happen. So Pluto has been in Capricorn for a long time and is in the last degree of Capricorn right now, which, if you're into astrology, for some reason that last degree is significant. It's like a death and dying. Um,
Okay.
we're all being death doulas now, saying goodbye to the attributes of Capricorn, which is systems and organization, and it's very earthy and can be heavy, watery, emotional. And on November 19th, when we're going to be in the UK together, which I think is so fascinating, and our event starts that day. Um,
Mm.
we Pluto shifts into the first degree of Aquarius, and the first degree in astrology is also significant. Now you're in the birth canal, so we're kind of doing these things all at one time, and right now we're like swimming in this dying and birthing at the same time. Aquarius is fiery and air, thought forms, creativity, innovation. Uh, Marcia has mentioned that technology may change very quickly because of the creativity and thought. So, yeah, if things are feeling a little bit wonky, it you can blame Pluto.
Okay. That explains a lot. No. Yeah, what's fascinating is when you hear the astrology and then you sort of overlay it on, what's going on at the moment. It kind of relieves you a little bit because it's like, okay, this is probably like a bigger plan. I don't know, it raises your perspective a little bit, or
Yeah.
it shines a different light on it maybe, and you can kind of take yourself out a little bit and just say, okay, there's a play going on
Yep.
and I'm in the play. I'm playing a role,
Yep.
but I'm there's more to it than that. Like there's a bigger picture. This is all I see right now, but you know, we could
Yeah.
be talking here in a few 6 months time, and we'll have seen major shifts happening
Right. And then we'll
that
be
are
able to,
uncomfortable.
yeah. Um, and to be part of that creation, I think is we have to settle into our own selves, and what in me needs to die, what's not serving me anymore,
Hmm.
do I have habits that I should just let go of. Some of them aren't even that hard. You just say bye, bye. You're not
See
serving
ya.
me anymore. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now I'm done. And it's also, soon it will be time to like, what do I love, what's in my heart that I want more of, what gets me excited, where
yeah,
can I find, we all have, in Janet's group we talk about this inner ember that we all carry. It's in there, it's burning. Sometimes it's like a big fire, and sometimes it's just, it's resting, but it's still there. So the fiery
mhm,
part is going to want to come alive here, and
yeah,
listen. Hey, what is it? Have you been wanting to write a book, or um, take singing lessons, or swim in the ocean?
yeah. Like in an Ayurvedic perspective, like the fire is related to the Pitta dosha. It's fire with a little water, and when it's mixed with the air and space dosha, which is Vata, like Vata can really push Pitta because of the air and space with the fire can really kind of make it kind of burn. So it can be a real push kind of within ourselves to to kind of be accountable, to be responsible, to take action, to be decisive,
Mm,
and kind of to commit, like, not to
mm,
be kind of sitting on the fence on everything. We When we stay on the fence about everything, we're not really we're really, like, by being that indecisive, we're really kind of supporting our dictators in that respect, because we're not taking a stand
mhm.
into what we want. And sometimes it's comfortable kind of hanging out on the pillar, on the fence a little bit, but really I think that energy, that pit of energy, is direct, and it's a force, and it's like, just make the decision now, keep going. It's somebody has to sort of start to move the show forward, and Pido generally will do that. Like, whereas Vada could be out there in the creative land, dreaming up all sorts of
Yeah,
cool, creative ways, and
not
which we
doing a
need
thing.
too, but not necessarily getting it done. Um,
Right.
but once the kind of information's been dropped in, I think then the Pitta has to kind of move it forward, and that's when the Kapha comes in, then, which is the earth and water, and it's like, okay, systems. We've to not analyze what's going on. We need to kind of organize ourselves. We need to methodically, kind of step by step, move through things. Like, so yeah, that's the kind of interplay of the three doshas, which is like our expression, is how I see it, on as we walk and sleep and dance and swim and whatever else we do through life.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we're definitely influenced by what's going on up there, without a shadow of a doubt.
So did you just weave the doshas in with astrology?
Yeah, it's the only, like, I when I hear the astrology and I hear the qualities of the planets and
Fire.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when she related them to the elements, I can relate to that, because I have a really deeper understanding of the elements through how they express through me and obviously other people. So I try to kind of go, okay, well, if it's a fiery month, or it's a, whatever, the energy's a bit stuck, or that helps me a lot, like, and the good thing with Ayurveda is, like, you're never trying to overpower, or kind of, you're never trying to be something you're not. You just are where you are. You're not trying to change your dosha. You are who and how you are. But what it does help is how to kind of keep going if you get stuck, or if you're overwhelmed, or you're anxious, or if you're feeling imbalance in your system, then one of those is either depleted or it's increased.
So you're sort of working with, and then when there's a shift. So are you saying that we'll feel more energy
Hmm.
at the shift?
I think there'll be a lot of things shifting. We'll have no choice, but we can't really stay on the fence. We have to kind of make our stand. We have to stand firm together, even if we're minorities, and we have to believe in something together,
Yeah.
and collectively we'll build that.
Yeah.
And come from the heart, coming from compassion, kindness, and aside from political speak and talk, and all of that, just come from the truth of who you are,
Mm.
and stand for what you believe in, and hopefully you'll attract more people like that in your neighborhood, in your community, online communities, wherever. And then I think that's what, Deepak Chopra talks about all the time: when we get a critical mass, when enough people are having, in coherence, we can make that leap. We something will definitely shift. So if we all stay, like, when I hide under the duvet, I know I'm hiding under the duvet. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I have those days.
But you're not alone, because I'm over here hiding too.
But then, there's a point where it's okay to let the person hide for a little bit and just
Yeah.
catch up.
Yeah.
But then there's a point where you have to poke them and go, listen, what are you going to do? Come on.
Yep.
You need to do something. So the part of me that hides on the duvet is the earth and water part.
Mhm.
Get a little stuck. It's like, ooh, freeze, because it's cold and it's a bit stuck, and it's like, I'm not sure what to do here. But the best thing to do if you're feeling like that, or you know your friend or loved one is like that, is you got to kind of poke them a little bit, and you've got
Yeah.
to say, "Hey, come on, we're all
Mhm.
going to do this." And movement, invigoration, heating, things like that will really get that stuck energy moving again.
Mhm.
And be in service to other people to get you started. That's a really good way to help. Just volunteer somewhere, just take some decisive action in some small area.
Yeah.
It could be like just go offer somebody that you'd walk their dogs, or I don't know, like make them a pie. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the thing is,
Yep.
but we do have to get up and make a point of moving and taking a stand.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, those are good words.
Yeah, the I am, I think, is, what I am powerful. I do have a vote. I do have a choice. I do, I matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm. Susie, our hour. We talked the
Oh
whole
my
hour.
God, we did. We just saw the time. We got on our soapbox there at the end. Oh, well. Felt good. I was feeling really miserable before we started this, so I definitely feel a bit more empowered now. So I'm glad we had this chat.
Yeah, me too. I
It
would
was
love
good.
to learn. We should highlight you and let you talk about your Ayurvedic wisdom.
Yeah, anytime. I once I get on that what you call it, soapbox, there's no getting me off. I'm really passionate about it.
Yeah.
Because I felt like for me it was like getting the the handbook, the user handbook, how to
Mm.
be a human being.
Oh,
And what I love the most about it is it's not new age. It's not like, read this and then buy the shake, none of that. It's ancient wisdom. It's absolutely ancient, and it doesn't cost you anything to apply that wisdom to your life. Like, it's not a buy-in, it's learn about yourself and explore it, and figure out your uniqueness, true nature. I
yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Mm.
Kathy, I
Delicious.
can't believe we're going to hang out together. We're both traveling, and I know Ramsey's going to be traveling Sunday,
Yep.
and we're going to finally meet in person. Oh my God, we'll have to video it for Spirit Cafe and for Open Mic UK viewers.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll probably do something from over
We
there.
probably will. I think we'll definitely try and plan something in there while we're together anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look forward to Journey to Avalon. It's amazing how like there's 12 people showing up in Avalon, and we barely put it out there. We didn't really promote it, and it's full.
Yeah, it filled
And
in 5 minutes.
yeah, yeah, like there's a pre-existing group in the UK that are like, yeah, we'll be there. So we'll have a really wonderful time. I look forward to being in Glastonbury with you, and sitting by the fire and just having chats and cups of tea or coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be lovely.
So good. All right. So we should say goodbye. Are we going to be we're not going to be on in 2 weeks. Um
I
because
don't know.
we're going to be
I
traveling.
Yeah. We'll
Um
probably skip a week maybe. We'll check with Ramsey. I could have a guest maybe. We'll talk about it and we'll decide kind of I could do it because I think I'll be back home.
oh right, you'll
Um,
be back on Tuesday. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Everybody knows where to
yeah,
find us. Okay.
absolutely.
It's so good to talk to you. I'm going to hit the music now. Thanks everybody. Does she know how to do it? It's not going. Here, wait.
Hang on now.